Well, tomorrow across the country, we will be marking what is known as the Day of Compassion, a day when the media takes time to concentrate on people with HIV and AIDS. The soaps, the primetime shows, and talk shows will all address the subject in some special way. And our guest today is Lawrence Leritz, East Coast producer of the Day of Compassion. He's also an actor, dancer, composer, choreographer, bodybuilding expert, but most importantly for today, a man of compassion. Tell us how this all started.
This is the 4th year for Day of Compassion, and 2 years ago I was living in Los Angeles and decided to move back to New York to pursue my acting career and to promote my video. And I ran into a friend of mine about a week before I left, and Neil Tadkin, who began the idea of Day of Compassion. And he said, you know, I'm exhausted. How would you like to be the East Coast director? So I said sure, and without really giving it too much thought, I came back to New York and I began working on it. And it was this tremendous load of work, and I said, why am I doing this? Besides having lost a lot of friends and feeling it very deeply in my heart. And what happened, my father passed away about a month after I was back. And I'm from a very small town in St. Louis, and near St. Louis. And I went back to the wake, and after being there for about an hour, I needed to step out to get a drink of water. And I walked into the next room, which I thought where the drinking fountain was, and instead it was another viewing room. And in that room was a half-closed casket, and no flowers, no people. My father had hundreds of people there to see him, and lots of flowers. And my brother followed me out, and I said to him, I said, why is no one here? And he said, oh, you don't know? And I said, no. And he said, well, look, this young man died of AIDS, and his family is ashamed of him.
And so
no one is here.
No one came, no one sent flowers.
And I stood in that spot and cried, and I said, you know, thank you, Dad, for teaching me why there needs to be a Day of Compassion.
And you have pointed out to me that this is one of the days when no one's asking for money. That's not the point. The point is to really understand, to stop and take a look and appreciate the devastation that's been cast upon our world by this disease.
I think everyone has lost someone close to them, whether it be like myself, my father, people who are dying from AIDS. We all have that sense, compassion. It's like with passion, something you feel very passionately about, and that sense of loss. I mean, we all can sense that. So we should also be feeling that with AIDS and HIV. Instead, some people are still saying, you know, only gays have it. Well, the truth is 50% worldwide of the people who have AIDS are women.
That's right, and it's a fast-growing population. Absolutely. Serena, you're on the phone. You have a question for our caller.
Hello, yes I do. I also have AIDS, and I was just remarried recently, September 95, and I know that there's a lot of hope. My question is that there's a lot of support groups that need people with AIDS to talk to other people, but a lot of the times I feel too weak, and I feel like I can't obligate myself to do these things. Is there anything that I could do at home in order to help people that need help like I do?
Every city has its local, like New York has the Gay Men's Health Crisis. Every city has an 800 number where there are all sorts of programs you can be involved with, and I highly recommend just, you know, you don't have to belong to 100 things. Do one thing. It's like the Day of Compassion with me. I didn't think I could make a difference, honestly, and I decided to commit to this, and I found out one person can make a difference.
Well, Maria, you're very affecting on the telephone. I would suggest that might be one way to establish a connection with other people who are also perhaps not feeling strong enough to go out, but who can communicate by phone.
It's a very hard thing to do. I mean, there are lots of issues which come up.
You were telling me that you got an overwhelming response, so 98% of the people you contacted will, on Friday, tomorrow, do something about the subject.
It's absolutely amazing. The soap operas, all the talk shows, the news programs, local, national, international, radio. I'm running off after this to talk on the radio in Detroit. It's like fantastic.
And that's great. And you've got public service announcements. One of those is running right now, so that you have made a difference. And I think that it is true that you just have to find that one thing that you can do. And tomorrow we can all take time to stop and think about it.
And thank you so much for participating.
Lawrence, for being with us. Well.